You're listening to Let's Talk About It, a digital forum that holistically addresses the issues that arise in everyday life and the current affairs that are prevalent throughout our nation and that affect our culture. Let's join host Ty Priest Hannah now for today's discussion.
Let's talk about it.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About It. I am your host, Ty Priest Hannah, but of course, everybody, and I do mean everybody, calls me Ty. Thank you for allowing me to chill out with you for a few minutes. So fam, how's it been going? How are you guys doing? What have you been up to? As for me, I'm doing pretty well. I cannot complain. I actually had the opportunity to binge watch the Netflix series Squid Games, and I actually enjoyed it. However, I was not expecting that ending, especially when I shedded a tear. For those of you who have seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, I shedded a full-blown tear. But nevertheless, that ending was not expected. I'm not going to spoil it for those of you who haven't seen it. I certainly encourage you to watch the series. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. There were actually some things that I actually learned from the show, which I may share in a separate episode, but it was a good series nonetheless. And while we're talking about television series, I also just found out that season 9 of Blacklist is on. And guess what? I am super excited. Blacklist, now that's my show. That Raymond Reddington, he is that guy. I mean, I love the way he manages his operation. That guy, although a high-profile criminal, that guy is just phenomenal. If you have not seen Blacklist, I certainly encourage you. You got to take time out of your day. You got to take a vacation and just binge watch all of the seasons of Blacklist. I promise you, with Blacklist, you definitely won't be disappointed. Okay, enough about me and my binge watching. Let's get down to business. Today on Let's Talk About It, I want to talk about something that all of us may struggle with to a certain extent, and that is adjusting to change. When I was in college, my major was psychology. For some odd reason, I've always been intrigued by what shapes a person's thought process. You know, why do they think the way that they think? And I remember in those psych classes, we discussed a particular disorder called adjustment disorder. Now, let me say this as a disclaimer. I am by far no certified psychologist. But based upon what I remember, adjustment disorder is an emotional or behavioral reaction to a stressful event due to change. The person who is undergoing a change in his or her life becomes overwhelmed with anxiety, all because they are unable to handle the change that is going on in their life. Whether it is having to deal with the loss of a job or changing relationship status, going from single to married, or having been involved with someone for an extensive amount of time and then going back to a single status, or having to deal with the loss of a loved one or any type of life crisis, that person has a hard time adjusting. And to be honest with you, as I've already stated, all of us experience it to a certain degree, to a certain extent, because life can be full of changes, and you have to be prepared to embrace whatever changes are going to take place or that has taken place. If I have learned anything from this pandemic with which we are all dealing, I've learned how to embrace change. And so I want to share with you 3 principles that I have incorporated in my life to help me deal or cope with change. One thing you must do is acknowledge that change is taking place. One of the reasons why it is so difficult for people to adjust to change is because they are trying so hard to live in denial or trying to operate as they have previously, as if change isn't happening. Stop living in denial. Embrace the change. Acknowledge and accept the change that is in your life. Secondly, you must change your mind or allow your thinking to evolve. Another reason why people have a hard time accepting or adjusting to change is because of their perception, how they mentally see change. You're going to have to change your mind. If the change that is to take place in your life is going to be effective, you're going to have to change the way you think. You won't be able to embrace the level of newness if you don't think differently. You can't possibly adapt to prosperity if your mindset is still impoverished. Change your mind, you will also change your life. Change your mind, and it will also help you become less emotional as the change is taking place. Thirdly, and this is my final point, you must be able to build a plan that is going to support the change or changes that are taking place or going to take place in your life. Although change can catch us all by surprise, and then there are other times that we actually see it coming. Nevertheless, you must build a plan that is going to help undergird the change that is taking place or going to take place in your life. For example, if your living situation is changing and you're moving into your own place for the first time, you need to come up with a budget that is going to support your lifestyle and ensure successful living. A lot of times, the reason why people have problems or difficulty adjusting to change is simply because they don't plan. Without a vision, without a plan, people perish or they become destroyed. If you fail to plan, then you are planning to fail. You must build a plan. Now, I'm quite sure that there are other principles or advice that can be given, but these are the ones that I incorporate to help me cope or deal with any change that is taking place in my life, and they have been proven to be very beneficial. However, I am an open-minded person, and if you have any tips or advice as to how to deal with change or adjust to change, I am open to them. I want to hear about them. Well, family, that's my time. I hope you've enjoyed our little discussion today. You already know I have. Thank you for letting me hang out with you today. If you like what you hear or have a particular topic that you would like to discuss, you already know what to do. You know what to do. Send me an email at ltaipodcast29501@gmail.com. Once again, that email address is ltaipodcast29501@gmail.com, or you can simply shoot me a text message at area code 843-799-7619. And you already know I want to hear from you. You already know that. Thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk About It. I am Ty Hanna. I'm out. Peace.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
You've been listening to Let's Talk About It.
Let's talk about